Hey guys, so I know it has definitely been a while since I've done a line check, and I've got a series of a few line checks recorded that I'm going to be posting over the next couple of days here, and I'm super stoked on all of the guests, all the incredible people that I've been interviewing, and I'm really, really excited for you guys to just see these episodes. Before we get into the episode, I want to mention one quick thing that I've been spamming all of my videos as of late with, and that's the fact that this coming Saturday the 25th, Lindsay and I will be doing a live stream on my channel where we will be reacting to fan submissions. So come out to the stream. You can sort of submit your friends' bands, submit your bands, submit some memes, submit some bands that you really love that you want me and Lindsay to check out on stream. And yeah, we'll take a look at all that stuff on Saturday. So that's going on there. And then the next thing I want to talk about is actually sort of like the intro to this video, which is this line check was shot differently than my others. Typically how I do line checks, as you guys have kind of seen, is we just jump on a phone call and I record my video on this end and my guests will record their video, and you know, my guests will send me the video and the audio that they recorded, of course, and I'll just sort of edit it all together for the actual video. This one was done a little bit differently. So I sent a list of questions to Adam in advance so that he could take his time with the questions and just answer the questions on camera and send it back to me, and then I could record my my actual questions separate from that, and then I just piece it together. Now that sort of way is not as organic. That method's not as organic as how I usually film these videos, but the reason why me and Adam decided to do it that way is simply because there is a big time zone difference between the two of us, and there is a bit of a language barrier. So to give him, you know, the time to sort of translate everything and get all of the get the nuances down so that he could hit me with, like, you know, appropriate English answers, that's how we kind of went about doing it. I shouldn't be rambling. I should stay on topic here with this line check now. So as I already mentioned, today's guest is Adam Bjork. He is a fellow YouTube drummer. He is a fantastic drummer. So if you're a fan of my channel, you're a fan of watching YouTube drummers, I strongly suggest go over, give him a subscribe, check out some of his videos. He's awesome, and I'm really stoked for you to check out this episode. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Adam Bjork. All right, Adam, so first off, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me today, man.
Hello, Wyatt. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
So the first question I wanted to start off with is just that outside of YouTube, is there any projects on the band side of things that you're currently involved with, or is there anything else musically that you're up to outside of your channel, of course?
Well, besides YouTube, I play in a band called Bleeding Utopia. It's a Swedish melodic death metal band, and I've been a member since 2015. It all started back in 2013 when our guitarist Fluff asked me if I wanted to join the band. However, back in the days was I not that much into death metal. I was more like a rock and metalcore guy. But I listened to some of their songs and listened to some other death metal bands and kind of got into that music. However, was the problem that I was still in school. I was like 16 years old and did not have any driver license. So there was a few problems with that, and it ended up that I'd say no to joining the band because pretty much didn't have time and was not just ready for it. However, did me and Fluff still had contact after that, and like 2 years later, Diddy asked me again if I wanted to join the band because they still didn't have found any drummer. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I went there for an audition and played like 7 out of 8 songs, I think. And the guys was really cool, they were really funny and really good at their instruments, and I was having a great time, you know, playing with them. So I was really happy with the audition, but I was not really sure what they thought about me. So afterwards, did they not say that much if I, you know, was in the band or not? So I was not sure, but when I was driving home, like 20 minutes later, did I get the message from them, and I was like, man, you're such a great drummer, like, do we want to join the band? I was like, heck yeah, I want it. So that was so cool to just get that message from them. And I've been in the band since then, I guess. Besides Bleeding Utopia and YouTube, do I not have any project right now. However, may I start a band with some guys soon, so stay tuned for that, I guess. I mean, I can't tell you much about it yet because some stuff like me myself don't know much about it yet, but we will see about it in the future.
That's super cool. I will definitely have to check that band out, and I will include a link to the band in the description for you guys at home to check out as well. So is YouTube currently your main focus, or how does that work?
I guess you can say that, unless I don't have any upcoming shows with Bleeding Utopia, because then I have to prioritize to be at band practice, of course, or maybe learn a new set list or something. But YouTube for me is like a good but fun way to practice, because that motivates me to pick a song and learn a song, and during the learning process do I sometimes find some new fills or maybe some new patterns that I can use for my own playing. So ever since I started with YouTube have I become a better drummer, so that's pretty much why I'm doing YouTube, as well because it's fun. Of course I would never, you know, record videos and upload videos unless I didn't thought it was fun, so that's just a way for me to, as I said, practice and having a great time behind the kit, I guess.
All right, man. Well, take me back to the beginning. Take me back to your roots. What was your upbringing like?
I'm born and raised in a small city here in Sweden called Katrineholm, which is like 2 hours away from our capital, Stockholm. And as a child, I always had a chance to try out all kinds of stuff. So I was really into sports at first. I played football for around 5 years, and then I played basketball for 4 years or something. However, it's my dad, a music teacher, so he kind of wanted me to, follow his steps. And since he plays the guitar and bass, he tried to teach me some guitar. So I got a few lessons from him, and I didn't find it was that much fun to play the guitar actually, and I was really awful on it as well. So I quit that pretty fast. And then when I got 10 years old, I had my first music class in school, and I remember that our teacher told us to pick any of the instruments in the room. So most of my friends went for the piano and the guitar and the bass, but no one took the drum set. So I picked up the pair of sticks and sat behind the drum kit, and I had no idea what I was going to do, and so I started just to play randomly, and I had no idea either what I was doing, but it was really fun. And a few minutes after that, my friends came up to me and was like, "Hey Adam, that looks so cool, can I try and can I play?" And I was like, "No, you went for the bass, and you there went for the guitar, and I'm playing drums right now." So my mom and dad heard about this and pretty much bought me my first drum kit the same year at Christmas. So that's pretty much how it all started, I think.
Take me through some of your earlier influences.
I was probably around 12, I think, when I started to listen to metal music, and one of the first metal bands I heard was Metallica. I really liked their music and thought that Lars Ulrich was a really cool drummer. And I remember when I heard Dire C for the first time and was like, how the hell can he play the double bass so fast? And I mean, we all started somewhere, I guess, and back then was that just really fast music for me. And after that, I got into heavier music or bands such as Slipknot. And I was not sure if I liked them because of their music or because of their cool masks. But I had a period when I was listening a lot to them, so I guess I got into the music. And after that, when I must have been like 14, I think, I got into metalcore and stuff. So August Burst Red was like one of my favorite bands, So I was listening a lot to them, checking out Matt's drumming a lot. And around that period was the period when I started to progress my drumming, I think, because he was a really good drummer and I got a lot of motivation and inspiration from listening to their music and watching him. So, yeah. And after that, I just started to listen to much more heavy music. I got into death metal and deathcore, and yeah. If you have seen some of my covers, you probably know what kind of music I'm in today.
So when did you have your first experience playing live?
I think it was in 2011 with my first band called Lying Moose, and I don't remember what kind of show it was, but I remember that we didn't have many own songs, so we mostly, if not only, played covers. So after that show, we say to each other that, guys, we should probably make our own music now. So we did that, and to be honest, do I not really know what kind of genre it was. Sometimes was it heavy, and sometimes was it a bit more funky. And if you guys watching this are interested by that band, can you find some, old clips on YouTube by searching on Lying Moose?
So was there like a certain point where you decided that you wanted to be a musician and take this on as a career?
I think it was around 2013 when we in Lying Moose was in a music competition, and we got to play through shows through that competition, which was really fun. And out of like 30 bands, it got that 5th place, I think. And not only that, I got like a prize for being the best musician in the whole contest, which was really cool. So I got a gift card with enough money for me to buy like a new microphone. So I got one of these Zoom microphones, which I had in the early days for my drum covers. And then I just felt like, man, I want to be a musician. I mean, I want to write music, I want to play music and, be on stage and stuff like that. So around 2013, I think.
All right, man. So let's talk about the gear that you use. Take me through your drum set, your cymbals, some of the equipment you have.
Oh man, I'm such a gear nerd and I love to talk about my gear, so let's just get started. The drum set I use is a Pearl Masters Maple Complete. It's a 8x7, 10x8 and 12x9 sizes of the rack toms. The floor tom is a 16x14 and the bass drum is a 22x18. The snare I mostly use is my own custom snare that a fan of me made for me. It's a 13x7 beech/maple shell snare drum, and man, that snare freaking cuts. Gotta be my favorite snare of all time, so I'm really stoked that someone would like made it like a gift for me. That's just amazing. When it comes to cymbals, do I play with MEINL cymbals? I recently made the switch from Sabian to MEINL, and I did not have any like endorsement deal with Sabian, and I don't have any endorsement deal with MEINL. I just wanted to try something new especially since I've been looking at MEINL cymbals for such a long time. And I really like their sound and like their overall brand and marketing and stuff, so I think I did a good choice. When it comes to pedals, do I use the Starchy Copito pedals, which looks like this. And I'm actually endorsed by them, which is really cool, and I'm super stoked to be a part of the Copito family. And I'm not saying this right now just because I am endorsed by them, but these pedals are probably the best one out there on the market today. Of course it's a preference thing, but for me is this for sure the best one I've tried so far. I tried many pedals over the years and had the problems with the pedals like making weird noises and starting to get loose parts and stuff. I've been using this pedal for over a year now, and I mean, check this out. Do you hear that? Well, I don't. It's absolutely silent, and all of the parts are, you know, super stiff and, you know, solid, so there's no loose parts, so the build quality on these ones are just amazing. So the feel on this one, on this particular one, is it really light, because I like my pedal to have a light feel. I mean, overall is the pedal really heavy. This pedal weighs like a normal double pedal, I would say. But the feel of it is pretty light, which I like, but you can also set it up by using all of the settings it has to get a bit heavier pedal. As well do I have the on triggers, which are like a trigger system that are mounted on the pedal. So every time the pedal hits the head, does the pedal board touch the sensor, which is like underneath the footboard, which causes the pedal to, you know, to cause the trigger to fire out. So if you can, check these pedal out because they are freaking amazing. I use Pearl hardware and Evans drum heads, and for the hardware do I have the Pearl Icon Rack, which holds the whole kit together. And I got the version with the longer and curved bars, you know, because my kit is pretty big, so for me to fitting everything where I wanted, did I get the, you know, longer version of the rack. The heads, as I said, was Evans, and I used the Evans EC2S on top and Evans Resonant Glass for the bottom. For the snare, do we have the Evans Hybrid and the Evans Hazy 300 for the resto side. Besides Starchy Copito, I'm as well endorsed by a company called Bratim, which make these sick drum shoes, and let me tell you why. First of all, are they really lightweight, which I really like. As well are they really flexible, so they have a really good fit on your feet, I would say. Underneath here, do you have a really cool grip pattern, and one thing I had problem with other drum shoes I was using before was that some shoes was just too slippery, and some shoes was actually too grippy. And what's good with too much grip is that playing, you know, slower stuff, you know, did you always had, you know, a good grip on your pedal. But for me that like to play with the swivel technique during faster stuff, was like the Vans shoes like too grippy, so I had to work against, you know, the grip on the shoe. But these shoes have the perfect amount of grip, I would say. As well, last but not least, do they look sick? I mean, I use these black ones, they have like other colors like in white and red and stuff, but these black ones look sick, and I feel super sexy walking around with these at the venues. Last but absolutely not least, I'm endorsed by ProMark drumsticks. I've been a ProMark artist since 2 months back now, and I'm super stoked to be a part of the family, as well really happy with their quality drumsticks. I recently started to use these Dave Lombardo signature drumsticks, which are called the 2BX. It's like a tiny bit longer 2B model, but with the, let's see, the nylon tips on it, which I think gives the whole kit a bit more distinct sound, which really fits my playing very well, but also like metal playing overall. And yeah, that's what I'm using.
So what camera is it that you use to create your covers?
The cameras I use to record all my drum covers with are the GoPro 4 Silver, GoPro 5, 6 and 7 Black, as well this camera I'm using right now, which is a Canon 600D.
And when you're handling audio, what DAW do you edit your audio in?
The DAW I'm using to record my drums with is Studio One Pro, and I was lucky enough that my guitarist Fluff had an extra license of it, so I could get it for free. So thank you so much, Fluff. And before I had that, when I bought my interface, which is a Presonus 1818 VSL, I got like a light version of Studio One, but I was lucky enough to get the pro version of it since Fluff had an extra license for it, so he's the man.
What program do you use when actually editing like the video and assembling the cover itself from like a video side of things?
The editing software I use is called Pinnacle Studio 15. I've been using that program since I started to make videos for YouTube. And the only good thing about it is that I've been using it for such a long time now, so I know where everything is and I think it's easy to work with. But the bad thing is that it doesn't have any, fancy effects. If I ever want to use that, it crashes sometimes, and the worst thing is probably when I export the video, it takes down the quality a bit, and that may be because of my computer ain't so good as well. But hopefully can I upgrade to something better soon. That would be great. But overall it's just a okay program, I guess. I mean, it gets the job done, and it takes 1 or 2 hours for me to edit the video in it.
All right, let's go back, take a second here and talk about your skill and your playing. You're definitely a faster drummer. What would you say were some really effective methods that you used that helped you get fast at the kit, whether it be on your hands or your feet?
Well, the only thing I did was pretty much to play as much as possible. I mean, as soon as I got some time over it, I went behind the drum kit and started to play. To be honest, do I not have any special rudiments to keep my hands getting faster, or any specific, practicing routines. I just like to take on a track and just play to track, because tracks or songs kind of motivates me to play more, and if I play more, do I get better, I guess. And some dudes like to have a click in the air and play to a click, which is really good for your timing, but it's easily get boring to just play to a click, clock, clock, clock. So I'm only using the click pretty much when I warm up before shows, and during the shows when I have the click tracks in my ears.
What are the steps you take when sitting down to learn a new cover? Do you have a specific process you go through? Just walk us through how you get from zero to hero kind of thing.
First of all, do I need to find a song that I either like a lot or a song that I think is a good challenge for me? If not, do I most times stop to play the song or listen to the song because I don't have enough motivation to learn it? And then, when I found a song that I really like or see as a challenge, do I listen a lot to it, everywhere, at work, when I'm driving the car, when I'm walking somewhere, or just try to listen to it as much as possible. And when I've done that, do I get behind the kit and try to take out all the parts as good as possible. Usually I start with the intro, try to get through that part, and then I go to the verse maybe. And after I get those 2 parts down, do I try to see if I can get from the intro to the end to the verse, and maybe then I try to learn the chorus or something. Depends on how hard the song is. And usually that's what I do the first day. I try to learn from the intro to the chorus kind of. The next day do I kind of try to learn the chorus and the verse and maybe whatever comes next, and see if I can put that all together. So I start from the intro and try to play all the way to the part I just learned or so. And then I just take the outro and try to see if I can play from the start or the beginning to the end. And that's shortly said how I go through a song, I guess.
What are your thoughts on wrist and finger motion as far as your grip goes?
Me, myself, use a lot of wrist when I'm playing a bit slower stuff. For example, up to 200 BPM, I would say. And I'm using that because I get much more power by using the wrist. And as well do I have a very good control while I'm playing more with the wrist. So let's say I use the German grip or American grip for a bit slower stuff. Then when I want to go above 220 BPM up to maybe 280 BPM, do I try to use the French grip a bit more. So I turn my hand 90 degrees and use a bit more fingers. However, not only fingers, because I still try to use both fingers and a bit of the wrist just to get some extra punch while playing faster stuff. So that's my thoughts about wrist and fingers.
How would you describe your pedal technique?
I use different types of techniques for my double bass playing. Usually when I'm playing a bit slower stuff, up to maybe 160 BPM, do I usually use the full leg motion, use the whole leg. And after that, when I go from 160 to maybe 200, 210, do I sometimes use the floating technique, thinking of it like you're bouncing a basketball with your foot on your pedal. And as soon as I want to go a bit faster than that, do I start to do the swivel. Which I use for faster stuff. And the swivel is really good for me to keep relaxed while playing faster stuff, but as well using the right and left motion to kind of keep myself holding a beat and know where I am at the moment, if that makes sense.
What would be some important advice that you could give my audience to help them succeed in music on their own?
Focus a lot on yourself. I mean, don't try to be better than that drummer, don't compare yourself to that drummer and compete with that drummer. there's no reason of doing that. I mean, music is not a competition. However, can you watch other drummers to maybe get motivated to play more, or maybe get some inspiration from them, just to make yourself getting better at drumming. Second of all, would I recommend to have a few goals? I mean, no big goals, just the small ones. Like, my goals are pretty much just to try to practice at least 3 times a week, just to keep myself going and try to stay as motivated as possible. And as well with those small goals, do I think you should have like dreams. One of my biggest dreams before was to be featured on Sick Drummer Magazine's YouTube channel, as well play the same show as one of my favorite bands. And both of these stuff happened last month. First of all, I was featured on Sick Drummer Magazine's YouTube channel, so you can check the video out on their channel. As well was We in Bleeding Utopia, the main opening act band for the Black Dahlia Murder, which is pretty much my favorite band right now. And I can't explain. I can still understand that stuff happened, so I'm really stoked about that. So that would be some of my tips.
So tell me about some of like your future goals that you're working at as far as like your own career and the path of progression that you're trying to sort of take.
Even though I have dreams, so right now I just try to focus as much as possible on maybe getting more updated on YouTube and my other social medias, as well to keep playing with Bleeding Utopia and see where we can get from the point we are now.
All right, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Thank you for jumping through the hoops kind of thing and how we've sort of strung this together. I appreciate you taking the time, and this has been a blast.
Thank you so much, Wyatt, for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure to be a part of it, and I wish you all the success and all the best for the future, and hopefully I get to see you with 100k subs soon. And of course, thank you to all of you who have been watching this, and once again, thank you, Wyatt, you are the man.
So there you have it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed Line Check episode 6. I really enjoyed this episode myself just because a lot of the things that Adam sort of talked about I can relate to personally. Me and him are kind of at very similar stages in our careers. We're both on YouTube, so we do have a lot of similarities, and it was really cool to hear his side of things as far as how he goes about his gear and how he goes about sort of what production programs he uses for his videos and his process and some of the techniques. So I don't know, personally, I thought this was a fantastic episode. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe. Of course, this was a bit of a shorter episode, mainly because of the reasons that I talked about at the intro, where we had to actually record everything separate for the first time here on Line Check, but that's okay. Maybe in the future, I'll be able to get him back on and we'll do some follow-up questions to this episode that might be cool for down the line at some point. So with all of that being said, you can support me on Patreon and merch link description below. You can follow me on any of my social media pages. There's links on the screen for you right now, as well as in the description below. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I will see you guys very soon with something new.